Bozos, it's Tuesday, October 26th, as we get into advanced in the stabbing of children and fun stuff like that for today. We have a quiz coming up on Friday, which covers the book up to the end of chapter 4. Then we have homework on Thursday, which will do little example things here in a moment. Your ability to recognize numbers is strong. Pink Day coming up on Friday. Wear pink, celebrate. Book, we covered that. To cover this real quick with you guys, because it's popped up, probably does not affect you guys as much, being as that you're here during lunchy times, but since I'm in the process of telling my other classes, it feels only fair to tell you guys also, and to go, there's a person bringing a thing. You just put it on my desk right over there. Right here. On the X. That's close enough for me. Thanks. Hey, as far as my class is concerned, I do not mind or care if you guys bring in food and eat it, as many of you guys are doing at the moment right now anyway. But I figured, one, if I'd been a kid and I wanted to eat in class, I would have enjoyed it also. So now that I'm a teacher, I get to control things like that. So as far as I'm concerned, if you have food, I'm fine with you guys eating it. My only restrictions on it are don't share it, because when you do, it causes issues. And also, don't make a mess. If you do, I ban it for a week for the entire class, not just the person. So if you see a kid in class who's eating like Oscar the Grouch and just throwing food in their face and it's going all over the place, then you're probably going to smack them around. Never mind, don't smack children, that's wrong. But make sure that they don't make a giant mess with it, because then I will get grumpy. And then also for now, return mask as quickly as possible to face when you get done. Pull it down, throw the food in there, pull the mask back up, munch, 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 and then you're good to go from there. I also do sell snacks for those of you who are interested. Whenever I have had a chance to go to the grocery, I will bring stuff in, and you can buy them from me. I have like granola bars and the little packs of the crackers with the cheese in the middle of them, and then like Cheez-Its and stuff like that. As far as buying them, you're welcome to buy before or after class. It costs you 5 points to buy, and it does count towards your loss of 15 points for the week. So if you bought like 3 snacks in a week, you'd have a detention, because 5 plus 5 plus 5 equals detention. You also have to have at least 25 points, because if you're under 25 points, then you have other issues, and buying snacks is not a thing you have to really worry about. And then I think that covers it from there, but I figured I'd at least throw that out there for you so that you are aware. Now that I have cabinets that I can keep food in, that's why I figured I can now start bringing stuff in. Are you guys turning your heads like you've not seen my cabinets before?
Well, I thought they had something in them.
Well, there are, but they're in the closed cabinets. Willie J. Is it right after class? There you go. You can do it during class when I charge you 10 points, because it's the 5 points for the snack and the 5 points for making me use it during class time. But if you have enough points and you're really hungry, I would hate to stop a child. Omar, did he answer your question also? Yeah, that's good teamwork on that one. All right, so the rest of you guys are good to go there. Yes. Let's go to here. Let's see what you guys have. So I'm going to call on you. Tell me page number, what the reference is in the book, and then how it connects to you with explaining bits that go along with it. Owen?
I have a question about...
And then we'll have you go first.
Okay.
It's a solid... yes.
And so if you bring in your own, do you have to...
Spin points?
Yeah.
No, you brought your own. It's like you're going to buy it from me. Owen, what's your first connection? Whatever. The first one he's going to say out loud.
I put...
what page?
10.
Page 10? Okay.
First sentence. Stop making funny remarks to save his life, and I put what Mr. Brovicast tries to do.
Make fun of you to save your life?
No, just make fun of it.
No, because I do feel like I make fun of you to save your life. If I didn't make fun of some of you, I'm afraid you would die. So that's why I keep doing it, to try and help you.
The sentence is, couldn't stop making fun remarks to save his life.
Oh, that would make more sense. Gidget!
Page 6.
6, okay.
And it's always vouch for me without needing to be is my brother.
Would make sense also. All right, and then over to there, Claire.
Yeah.
Hi, Claire.
I know. Let me find it.
So the part where I had you guys go and find the section so I could call on you quickly.
I know, it's right here.
Okay.
Page 8.
Uh-huh.
In the summer, the sun bleaches it to the shining wheat gold. That's for hair. And I would connect my sister Zoe.
Does her hair also change color in the summer?
It's like really blonde.
Tiffy.
In page 2, it says oldest brother. I said oldest brother, except that he's better.
Way to attack the older brother. All right. Hogan.
On page 11,
Mm-hmm.
I said smaller than the rest because I'm smaller than.
Well, one more time, go louder. You went all mumbly at me.
I'm smaller than the rest. On page 11,
Uh-huh.
it says Johnny was youngest next to me, smaller than the rest.
Gotcha.
And I'm smaller than the rest. And the next one.
I would understand that connection.
Okay.
You also apparently made your voice smaller than the rest, so that worked out well, because that's why I was having a struggle on that one. So good. Hayden! Was that a sigh of happiness, Hayden?
Sure. Page 8, it says you're crazy, then I wrote
You?
you.
Me.
You.
Oh, you.
You.
It's so confusing, Hayden. Oh, interesting. Kirky!
Oh, on page 10 in the describing 2-bit, it says he was still a junior. My brother's not still a junior, but he is a junior.
And probably not 18 and a half.
Yeah.
So that would make sense also. Yeah, that works for me too. Mamel! I'm sorry, did I catch you with your mouth full?
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
My grandpa owns a red Corvair, so when it says spotted that red Corvair, or Corvette, or whatever.
Corvair?
My grandpa's car.
He has a Corvair. That's kind
Well,
of
he
cool.
has a red car that, like, it doesn't have a
So he has a red convertible.
yeah.
It's not quite the same thing as a Corvair.
But when you shoot it up there, it looks like it.
Okay, so it looked like a red car with no top.
Yeah.
It's almost the same thing. I also have a Lamborghini. It's a car with wheels on the sides of it. It's like the same thing. When I look at them, I can't tell the
You're that
difference.
rich? You're not that rich.
I know, but I figure it's the same thing, right? This guy, it's a car. They're almost
That's why
like,
we call them poor.
Do I
Did-
still count at that?
sure. I mean, to live through Owen, I got to make fun of you, and apparently that keeps you alive. So it works for me. And here I am saving children. Air Clay,
Can I do another one?
are you trying to show off? Sure, Air Clay, what do you have?
This is to insult Sophia. Page 9. When it says smart, I said not Sophia.
Way to throw shade at that poor child.
I'm sorry, I'm not in advance.
No, you're in advanced English. That was kind of weird how you got the classes confused.
Yeah.
Those of you who have not had a chance to go yet, we'll come back and pick on you again in the future. I just wanted to go through, gives you an idea of what we're looking for it. So go, you guys. Let's go to there. I figured most of you guys didn't want to go. That's why I got to randomly pick on people.
Yeah, but mine's basically just.
For the homework, you're going to be finding 10 of them. I kind of recommend you go more than 10 just so you can cut it down. As you're writing them, you might find that some of the ones you did are kind of trash or hard to write, so it might be easier to have ones that cut back. But that's up to you. Brothers, let's see. So there. I cut out a lot of the pictures we move forward. So we have greasers, and then going against them are the socias, or two sides from there. I think I cut out the red car. I did cut out the red car that your grandpa was up there. Sadness. They are going to talk about the empty lot coming up again, so I want to make sure I mentioned that one. So you guys know that they're going to be hanging out. And then I was not able to find the hubcap going through the stuff on the stage. So at some point I'm going to try and keep digging farther and farther into it, but it was too deep of a box for me to get to, so we'll have to use our imagination. And then you guys brought up the one that you guys connected it to Bo Burnham, I think, yesterday. So yeah, I thought that was a solid connection. I'm going to steal that one for next year. So go, you guys there. Then, to help you out a little bit on this next part of it, trying to visualize the characters, there was a movie that was made of it, and so I figured for those of you who are trying to make the visual connections, it might make it a little bit easier on you. The drawback is they describe Dally as having super blonde, whitish hair.
I recognize
And as you can see there, he does not have super blonde, whitish hair, but for the most part, it gives you an idea of your trust. For some reason, I know it seems to help kids have a visual connection to things. Omar?
I know who that is.
Why does
I
Dan
don't
go
know
with
that
Dad?
movie.
Because he's supposed to be the oldest one?
Well, yeah, but like.
No, but Tubit's the oldest.
Isn't he only like 2 years older than Soda?
2-bit's 18 and a half, Darius over 20.
Oh.
And last time, I know I'm not advanced math either, but usually 20 is bigger than 18.
Yeah, but that's like. Unless that's not.
This is also what's called a movie.
That is not 1 year and a half. That
Okay,
is not
again, movie. Joey?
You need to make Brovy art where you make Dallas' hair that whitish kind
I'll
of
get right on that one. If you squint one eye and shake your head back and forth, it kind of looks white. is as you
No,
give yourself
I'm not looking
I
stupid.
guys all doing that.
It's not working, Mr. Bro.
Great.
I realized why Pony Boy looks so familiar. He was in Criminal Minds. He played George Foyette. He's
That's what
white
it is. I was.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Wait.
What happy connections?
Oh my
Mabel,
gosh.
Wait. Wait.
that's some good waiting.
Is soda like something low? Wait.
Yeah, Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Good job.
I knew that.
I'm so
Well,
proud of you.
Wow.
Hello.
Isn't Darius actor dead?
Yeah. I got depressing. Cancer gets the best of us. Tiffy.
Sorry for laughing.
I imagined Jerry and Dally are too big to have butt jeans.
Well, again, it's a movie, so I also have a different picture that makes it a little easier on you, so I don't know if that makes things slightly.
Oh, that's very George Foyette.
I mean,
Oh,
at least
Dally
that way
has-
his hair looks slightly blonder in that light. So that's something.
Johnny looks kind of
All right.
Harvey.
Omar.
What's that one Tom said?
Yeah, when you get home, do whatever you want.
Oh, Rob Lowe. My mom thinks
Yeah, so
I don't
it's
care.
not Tom.
Whatever you do during the fast on your own life, it's up to you.
911.
So we left off on page 17, so we're going to pick up from there and get to, we're not quite to page 2 yet, we're sorry, to chapter 2. So let's go back to this picture, finish out, we're on page 17. We're at the very end of that part, we didn't quite finish it out. Where it says, how come you dropped out? Yes?
I just really noticed this. Dally looks like that one guy from the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay.
The main guy.
How come you dropped out? I never have gotten over that. This was Pony Boy talking to Soda Pop at night. I could hardly stand it when he left school. Because I'm dumb. The only things I was passing anyway were auto mechanics and gym. You're not dumb. Yeah, I am. Shut up though, I'll tell you something. Don't tell Derry though. Okay. I think I'm gonna marry Sandy. I mean, after she gets out of school and I get a better job and everything, I might wait till you get out of school though, so I can still help Derry with the bills and stuff. Tough enough. Hey, wait till I get out though, so you can keep Derry off my back? Don't be like that, kid. I told you he don't mean half of what he says. Are you in love with Sandy? What's it like? It's real nice. In a moment, his breathing was light and regular. I turned my head to look at him. In the moonlight, he looked like some Greek god come to earth. I wondered how he could stand being so handsome. Then I sighed. I didn't quite get what he meant about Derry. Derry thought I was just another mouth to feed, somebody to holler at. Derry loved me? I thought of those hard, pale eyes. Soda was wrong for once, thought. Derry doesn't love anyone or anything, except maybe Soda. I didn't hardly think of him as being human. I don't care, I lied to myself. I don't care about him either. Soda's enough. I'd have him until I got out of school. I don't care about Derry. But I was still lying, and I knew it. I lie to myself all the time, but I never believed me. I'm kind of worried to find out what parts of that you guys highlighted, but that's all right.
Wait, what?
So now, going to chapter 2, for here they're going to mention Dally stealing a pack of Cools. If you don't know what a pack of Cools is, I'm actually kind of proud of you, because they're cigarettes. Because that's what things we're going to be getting into here in a moment. Then there's another thing we'll stop for and explain here in a second. So jumping to chapter 2, this is them heading off to hang out together. Dally was waiting for Johnny and me under the street light at the corner of Pickett and Sutton. Since we got there early, we had time to go over to the drugstore and the shopping center and goof around. We bought Cokes, blew the straws at the waitress, and walked around eyeing things that were lying out in the open until the manager got wise to us and suggested we leave. He was too late, though. Dally walked out with 2 packages of Cools under his jacket. Then we went across the street, down Sutton a little way to the Dingo. There's lots of drive-ins in town. The Socias go to the Way Out and to Rusty's, and the Greasers go to the Dingo and to Jay's. The Dingo's a pretty rough hangout. There's always a fight going on there, and once a girl got shot. We walked around, talking to all the Greasers and hoods we knew, leaning in car windows or hopping into the back seats and getting in on who was running away and who was in jail and who was going to who could whip who and who stole what and when and why. We knew about everybody there. There was a pretty good fight while we were there between a big 23-year-old greaser and some Mexican hitchhiker. We left when the switchblades came out because the cops be coming soon and, well, nobody in his right mind wants to be around when the fuzz show. A couple things we're going to bring up there. Do you guys know who the fuzz are? Nowadays we call them the popos. When they talk about a drive-in restaurant, this is what they're referring to. We don't have them as much today. It's not a drive-through restaurant. It's one where you would actually have to park your car and they would like bring the food out to you inside your car. Sonic's something along the same idea. I know Rally's you drive through, but Sonic is when you actually park at, stuff like that. I knew A&W was one, and Dog and Subs was one they talked about, so Sonic's was the same idea. And so in the old, have you ever seen like the old movies? You have people like girls like on roller skates who like skate out and like bring a tray of like food and then hand it down and stuff like that. So that's what they were referring to with the drive-ins. They're going to mention that a couple times. Then in a moment, this is what they're going to, which is a drive-in movie theater. So if you're unfamiliar with a drive-in movie theater, they're the place where basically it's outdoors and you sit in your car and they have a giant screen outside that you just sit there and you get a chance to watch it. We have one around here. It's called Tibbs Drive-In and it's down in Indy. The one we have here in Indy actually is big enough it has 4 screens, one on each corner of the parking lot. You can literally stand in the middle of the parking lot and then turn in 4 directions and watch 4 movies playing at the same time. And to listen to it, you can just have like the radio in your car will play the sound. Back in the day, they had these little poles and they had a speaker on it. And you'd have to put the speaker and like put it off and like put it into your car window to listen to it and stuff like that. So that's going to be where they're heading to right now. And then also in there, they mention a switchblade. You guys know what a switchblade is?
Yes.
So that scares me a little bit. If you're unfamiliar with the switchblade, I did bring one in. You guys did. Okay, so big switchblade. It's okay to breathe. So, for those of you who are unfamiliar with switchblades, it's where you have a handle and then there's a little button, and you hit the button, and then
I'm laughing.
My stepdad has
blade comes out. It's whenever you have to quickly stab somebody. They used to be illegal for a long time, but because there was no need to have one unless you wanted to stab somebody. But now they're legal again, and you can actually buy them on Amazon. They're not called switchblades anymore. If you go on Amazon, they have different names like button knives and stuff like that. But I found out because I went on there to test it and bought one. The problem with these, the ones that shoot straight out the end, is that typically boys would carry them in their front pockets, and boys also tend to be idiots, and they would go by and you'd be like, hey friend, and you would kick your friend, and then you'd hit the button and be like, twink, ow, and it would stab the boy. That'd be bad. So they eventually switched the design, and they had what was called
that's the kind of
rainbow
but it's not
blade,
short.
where instead of shooting out this way, when you hit the button, it comes across like a little rainbow. Did you not want me to comb your hair? It's okay. And so
I know someone who has
that was the other type there. This one, when you had it in your pocket and someone hit it, it would not stab you because it would just get caught into your pocket, and they were considered much, much safer. But another thing you can do from there. And then one last thing. Even though it's not a switchblade, I have kids who bring them up all the time. And it's the butterfly knife. And so
That's actually the one that
these they don't really use in the story. I only bring it as an example. And again, this one is not really
that's the one she has.
not sharp at all. It's what's called a practice knife. So
That's
you
the one
can.
Zane
See,
has.
I'm so scared that you're gonna accidentally slice your neck. Like,
I have really work at it for a long time. But yeah, so these you can still get on Amazon. It's like $5. But, so you don't want to. The first time you have a butterfly knife, you don't want to hurt yourself when you're robbing somebody because it's embarrassing when you try to like, hey, give me your money. Like, oh, you drop the knife. So you have to practice one so you can get better at the spinning of it and the stabbing of it and stuff like that. Because you never know when you have to randomly stab a child in class.
But you do now.
Well, I do know. I mean,
I had a heart attack, bro.
it seems a little strong.
I had a little heart attack.
Just a little one?
Yeah.
I'll work on giving you bigger heart attacks in the future. No, I'm sorry. Continuing from there.
Please continue.
We crossed Sutton and cut around behind Spencer Special, the discount house, and chased two junior high kids across the field for a few minutes. By then, it was dark enough to sneak in over a back fence at the nightly double drive-in movie. It was the biggest in town and showed 2 movies every night. And on weekends, 4. You could say you were going to the nightly double and have time to go all over town. We all had money to get in. It only costs a quarter if you're not in a car, but Dally hated to do things the legal way. He liked to show that he didn't care whether there was a law or not. He just went around trying to break laws. We went to the rows of seats in front of the concession stand to sit down. Nobody else was there except 2 girls who were sitting down front. Dally eyed them coolly, then walked down the aisle and sat right behind him. I had a sick feeling that Dally was up to his usual tricks. I was right. He started talking loud enough for the 2 girls to hear. He started out bad and got worse. Dallas could talk awful dirty if he wanted to. And I guess he wanted to then. And I felt my ears get hot. 2-Bit or Steve or even Soda would have gone right along with him, just to see if they could embarrass the girls. That kind of kicks just doesn't appeal to me. I sat there struck dumb, and Johnny hastily left to get a Coke. I wouldn't have felt so embarrassed if they'd been greasy girls. And I might even have helped old Dallas, but those 2 girls, they weren't our kind. They were tough-looking girls, dressed sharp and really good-looking. They looked about 16 or 17. One had short, dark hair, and the other had long, red hair. The redhead was getting mad or scared. She sat up straight, and she was chewing hard on her gum. The other one pretended not to hear Dally. Dally was getting impatient. He put his feet up on the back of the redhead's chair, winked at me, and beat his own record for saying something dirty.
Oh, God.
She turned around and gave him a cool stare. "Take your feet off my chair and shut your trap." Boy, she was good looking. I'd never seen her before, but she was a cheerleader in our school. I'd always thought she was stuck up. Dally merely looked at her and kept his feet where they were. Who's going to make me? The other one turned around and watched us. "That's the greaser that jockeys for the Slash J sometimes," she said, as if we couldn't hear her. I'd heard the same tone a million times. Greaser, greaser, greaser. Oh yeah, I'd heard that tone before too many times. What are they doing at a drive-in about a car? I thought. Dallas said, "I know you too. I've seen you around rodeos. It's a shame you can't ride the bull half as good as you can talk it," the redhead said coolly and turned back around. That didn't bother Dally in the least. "You 2 barrel race, huh? You better leave us alone," the redhead said in a biting voice, "or I'll call the cops." Oh my, Dally looked bored. "You've got me scared to death. You ought to see my record sometime, baby."
Oh my
He
God.
grinned slyly. "Guess what I've been in for?"
Can I leave?
"Please leave us alone," she said. "Why don't you be nice and just leave us alone?" Dally grinned roguishly.
Oh my God.
"I'm never nice. You want a Coke?" She was mad by then. "I wouldn't drink it if I was starving in the desert. Get lost, hood." Dally merely shrugged and strolled off. The girl looked at me. I was half scared of her. I'm half scared of all nice girls, especially Socias. "Are you going to start in on us?" I shook my head, wide-eyed. "No." Suddenly she smiled. Gosh, she was pretty. "Well, you don't look the type. What's your name?" I wish she hadn't asked me that. I hate telling people my name for the first time. "Pony Boy Curtis." Then I waited for the "You're kidding," or "That's your real name," or one of the other remarks I usually get. Pony Boy's my real name. Personally, I like it. The redhead just smiled. "Well, that's an original and lovely name." "My dad was an original person," I said. "I've got a brother named Soda Pop. It says so on his birth certificate." "My name's Sherry, but I'm called Cherry because of my hair. Cherry Valance." I know," I said. "You're a cheerleader. We go to the same school." "You don't look old enough to be going to high school," the dark-haired girl said. "Oh, I'm not. I got put up a year in grade school." Cherry was looking at me. Well, what's a nice, smart kid like you running around trash like that for? I felt myself stiffen. I'm a Grease, same as Daddy. He's my buddy. Oh, I'm sorry, Pony Boy, she said softly. Then she said briskly, your brother Soda Pop, does he work at a gasoline station? It's a DX, I think? Yeah. Man, your brother is one doll. I might have guessed you were brothers. You look alike. I grinned with pride. I don't think I look one bit like Soda, but it's not every day I hear socias telling me they think my brother's a doll. Didn't he used to ride in rodeos? Saddle bronc? Yeah. Dad made him quit after he tore a ligament, though. But we still hang around rodeos a lot. I've seen you two barrel race. You're good. Thanks, Cherry said. And the other girl, who was named Marcia, said, how come we don't see your brother at school? He's not any older than 16 or 17, is he? I winced inside. I told you I can't stand it that Soda dropped out. He's a dropout, I said roughly. Dropout made me think of some poor, dumb-looking hoodlum wandering the streets and breaking out streetlights. It didn't fit my happy-go-lucky brother at all. It fit Dally perfectly, but I can hardly say it about Soda. Johnny came back then and sat down beside me. He looked around for Dally, then managed to shout hi to the girls and tried to watch the movie. He was nervous, though. Johnny was always nervous around strangers. Cherry looked at him, sizing him up as she had me. Then she smiled softly. I knew she'd sized him up right. Dally came striding back with an armful of coats. He handed one to each of the girls and then sat down beside Cherry. This might cool you off. She gave him an incredulous look. Then she threw her Coke in his face. That might cool you off, greaser. After you wash your mouth and learn to talk and act decent, I might cool off too. Dally wiped the Coke off his face with a sleeve and smiled dangerously.
Oh my God.
If I'd been Cherry, I would have beat it out of there. I knew that smile. Fiery, huh? That's the way I like him. He started to put his arm around her, but I'm doing my best to bring Dally's character to life.
No! Do not!
But Johnny,
I don't need the visual.
he started to put his arm around her, but Johnny reached over and stopped him. Leave her alone, Dally. Huh? Dally was taken off guard. He stared at Johnny in disbelief. Johnny couldn't say boo to a goose. Johnny gulped a little and got a little pale. He said, you heard me. Leave her alone. Dally scowled for a second. If it had been me, or Hoobit, or Soda, or Steve, or anyone but Johnny, Dally would have flattened him without a moment's hesitation. You just did not tell Dally Winston what to do. One time, at a drugstore, a guy told him to move over at the candy counter. Dally had turned around and belted him so hard it knocked a tooth loose. It was a complete stranger, too. But Johnny was the gang's pet. Dally just couldn't hit him. He was Dally's pet, too. Dally got up and stalked off, his fists jammed in his pockets and a frown on his face. He didn't come back. Cherry sighed in relief. Thanks. He had me scared to death. I changed dime store to the drugstore because most kids don't know what a dime store is. Essentially, it's what they used to call drugstore back in the day because things were cheap back then. They used to call them dime stores. Also, they mentioned him working at a gas station. A gas jockey was a job that people used to have at gas stations where when you would pull up, people did not want to pump their own gas. So you could have someone whose job was it to run out there and pump gas for you. And that person's job was a gas jockey. So that's the job they're referring to.
That's free money. No, that's not quite. It's lazy.
I mean, it's not free money. It's you're paying people to do it.